The bank alert arrived like a tap on the shoulder, gentle, ordinary, and impossible to ignore. Alder House Hotel, it said, 2 blocks from the steak place where Lena's team dinner was supposed to be. Our joint card, my name. The number on my phone was the exact amount for a room you book when you want privacy to feel curated. I sat a moment with the light from the living room lamp on my hands. The veins looked like maps. I could pretend I hadn't seen it. I could decide the kind of pain I preferred. Then I put on the jacket Lena calls my good decisions coat and walked out. Alder House smelled like fig and polished wood. The lobby bar hummed the way expensive places hum, soft enough to make you whisper. At the desk, a woman smiled like she'd been hired for her ability to smooth people into truth. "Good evening," she said, checking in. "Sort of," I said. "There's a reservation under my name. I need a second key." Her hands moved quick over the keyboard. 713, she said. "Would you like us to add you as a guest?" "If it's not too much trouble." "Nothing is." She slid the card. It felt absurdly light for what it could open. I didn't go up. I took a seat at the bar where the mirror let me keep an eye on the elevators and myself at the same time. I ordered club soda like I might want to remember everything. The bartender popped the lime with a precision that would have made my father proud. At 9:04 the elevator opened and Lena stepped out alone. She wore the black dress I know from our anniversaries, the one that looks like a secret told to the right person. She didn't look at the bar. She didn't look at the front desk. She looked only at her phone, then at her reflection for a second that didn't count, then back to the phone. When the doors closed on her, I let 30 seconds pass so I wouldn't look like a ghost. Then I followed. The 7th floor had the hush of money, carpeting thick as apology, a framed print of a river that didn't need a bridge. I stood outside 713 and heard nothing but a quiet I couldn't read. I slid the key. Lena turned as if she'd expected anyone but me. Her hand went to her throat, then dropped. Color left her face and returned in increments, like a decision fighting its way back. "Jamie," she said. My name felt like a wish that had tripped. "Hi," I closed the door. The room was too neat for what I'd thought it would hold. A bottle of water, an envelope with the crest, the bed corners shaved into triangles of discipline. Her bag sat on the bench with the zipper smiling. A second glass waited like a prediction. How she started. The card charge. I held up my phone. It came through with my name. She exhaled, a sound like the elevator cables had slipped a floor. "I told him not to book it," she said. "I came up here to cancel. To." She gestured around the room. "To look at this and decide against it." "Is there a hymn?" I asked, because the rest of the question sat between us, chewing on the silence. "Yes," she said, small and honest. "There was, not in this bed, not like that. More like attention I started returning." I looked at the second glass. I looked at the way she'd picked the room facing the back, not the city. It was a privacy that wanted to be forgotten. "Do you want to be stopped?" I asked. She closed her eyes as if the light stung. "I want to be better than I've been," she said. "I don't know how to do it without you seeing the worst of me first." We are 6 years married. We are experts at shared logistics and amateurs at telling each other the ugliest truths quickly. I stood close enough to smell the citrus she always carries in her purse. My heart did the animal thing. My head counted. "Look at me," I said. She did. I saw what love looks like when it's been left in an unlocked room, available to anyone brave enough to enter and careful enough to stay. "Kiss me," she said, and I understood it wasn't about the hotel at all. It was about whether there was any electricity left between us that didn't need a wall socket labeled regret. I kissed her the way you test a bridge you built yourself. The bed stayed crisp. The second glass stayed theoretical. I felt her shoulders drop that extra inch they do when the day finally releases its teeth. "Say you're staying," she whispered. "I'm here," I said, "but we're not pretending." She nodded. "We go home and talk." We go home and talk. She sat next to me on the edge of the bed like a student ready to fail and start over. "His name is Aaron," she said, eyes flooding and drying in turns. "He noticed things you stopped pointing out. My haircut, my new shoes, the way I tap my pen when I'm nervous." "I noticed," I said. "I just filed them under home." "That's the problem," she said, a sad-lipped almost smile. "I wanted to be a headline again." "I can do headlines," I said. "I just forgot to pitch them." We didn't make a scene. We made a list. We deleted a thread from her phone together. We named the places we get sloppy: happy hours, work travel, the gray hour when you feel more like someone else's idea than your own. We promised dumb things with big echoes. No secrets about location. No face-down phones at dinner. No staying in a room like this even to cancel it. She put the key card on the desk like surrender, then slid it under a coaster like she couldn't bear to keep looking at what almost happened. "I'm sorry," she said, and it sounded like a real object she was placing in my hands to carry with her. "I'm angry," I said, and it wasn't a weapon. It was a measurement. "But I'm not leaving you here." I called the front desk to check the room out. The woman thanked me for choosing Alder House. I thought of all the choices that weren't theirs to thank me for. In the elevator down, we stood like people learning how to occupy an old space without bumping into edges we just discovered. Lena leaned her head on my shoulder the way she did the week her mother was in the hospital. I felt the old circuitry warm back up under the new wiring. At the lobby bar, the bartender glanced up, clocked the two of us, and nodded like he'd seen this story play before and liked its ending. I handed him the extra key. He slid it into a drawer that looked like a small graveyard of almosts. Outside, the air had that clean spring temperature that makes you believe cities are forgivable. We walked the 2 blocks home without touching much, then touched constantly the moment our door closed, not in a way that would get us demonetized by the world, but in the way a long-stored blanket gets shaken out and wrapped around 2 people who remember why they bought it. We slept like people who had chosen the same house twice. In the morning, the bed smelled like citrus and apology, which, it turns out, is a survivable combination. Lena woke before me and made coffee stronger than necessary, her small peace offerings lined up like chess pieces. The good mugs, the honey, the grapefruit split exactly down the middle. "I don't want to be a habit you hang your coat on," she said, setting my cup down. "I want to be the reason you take the coat off." "I can work with that," I said. She deleted Aaron's number while I watched, then handed me the phone like a referee. I didn't scroll. I trusted the click and the absence it created. I opened my own messages and found the unsent draft to the woman at the gym who says my name like a secret we share. I deleted it with the same care you use to cut a thread that's grown through fabric you still want to wear. We went to work. We came home. That night, without any hotel scents or trained smiles or second glasses, we kissed again. Eyes open, lights soft, mouth saying the only honest lines we had: "I'm here. I'm trying. I choose you."